Well, hey, Saber fans, Mark here again. I'm going to talk about lightsabers a little bit in general. Primarily all the animosity that pops up whenever one company versus another gets discussed. Whenever someone comes on a forum and says, hey, Saberforge, Ultra Sabers, which one's better? And everyone loses their damn minds. Half the time you don't know whether these people are trolling or they're just asking legitimate questions. I know when I started out, that was a legitimate question for me. My first exposure to this sort of lightsaber thing was an Ultra Saber. And I said, hey man, where'd you get this? And he goes, oh, it's an Ultra Saber. And it was a very plain hilt, had no detail. He's like, oh, I just use it for dueling. I'm like, wow, you can do that, Didn't know anything about it. So I went to the Ultra Saber's website and looked. And thanks to Google, I looked at a lot of different things. And I ended up eventually not buying an Ultra Saber. I bought something from Saberforge. This is my first one. Ultra didn't have anything like this. I really like it. It's got the windows and, it's got a lot of detail and whatnot. Stuff that I like for what I thought was a reasonable price. The big difference between those two companies, and there's more companies out there than just that, is the way they price their product. And that's what really helped me make a lot of my decision about buying. I'll give you an example. Recently, I did buy, as a gift, a Ultra Saber, Dark Initiate V4. Somebody wanted it. I did my part, paid for it. But when I went to actually pick it up, I bought it at a convention where they had a booth. This is a saber that they say, oh, it's $55. And that's true. Well, what do you get for $55? You get the hilt. It's painted black. Doesn't have anything else on it. It has no cover tech. It has no windows in it that are offered as an option. And it comes with a 24-inch, what they call a mid-grade, that's a really flimsy blade with a little round tip on it. And I'm like, well, they're like, do you want the windows? And I'm like, well, yeah, I love windows. Well, that's $5 extra. And they show it to me, and I'm like, okay, I need like a 32-inch blade in that. And they go, oh, I thought you were getting it for a girl. And I'm like, the girl's 6 foot tall. So, $10 for what they call a standard blade, which is 32 inches. So, ended up being $75 to get out the door with that thing. That led me to just look at a comparison, and it's the sort of thing I looked at before, but to compare that saber, Dark Initiate V4, and you can do this yourself, to a Saberforge consular, it's a fair comparison as far as their overall size and the sort of the style of the thing. This in 6 watt is like $104. It comes with a heavy duty full on dueling blade, the only kind they sell, length of your choice. It comes with everything you see as far as detail, shiny or weathered. It's got the windows. It's got a CoverTech wheel. This particular one is a 12 watt model, but that's $30 more. The Dark Initiate, if you go on their website, look it up, it starts out $55 or $59, something like that. If you get their heavy duty dueling blade that's going to be equal to the Saberforge blade in 32-inch standard length, that's like $10 extra. Adding a CoverTech wheel, because I have to drill and tap a hole inside of the wheel, $14. A blade plug, which these come with, $4.50. An Allen key, which these come with, to take the blade in and out with, $1. To cut the windows in their hilt, or for them to sell you a hilt that has windows in it, another $5. To bring, oh, and a pointed tip on your heavy-duty dueling blade is $5. So to bring their $59 saber hilt up to the feature level that you get with Saberforge, it's going to be like $110, $109. Do you need all that stuff? Do you need a blade plug? Do you need a wrench? No. Would you probably rather have a full-size duelable blade? Yeah, you know. So there's a little false economy in there, and there's a little real economy in there. You don't choose to get these things, you don't have to pay for them. Should Saberforge consider selling one of these with less detail and without the knob, stuff like that, and charge a little less? I don't know. Economically, might make sense. If you do shows and find yourself in competition against Ultra, might make sense. But really this boils down to things that you like. I look at all the stuff that Ultra Saber sells, and most of it isn't appealing to me. It's very plain. Some of their stuff is very chunky and large. You don't realize until you pick it up sometimes. It's quite big. They don't make anything like this, which is the end-all and be-all of Saber design as far as I'm concerned. It's like Ford versus Chevy, Colt versus Glock, Kimber versus Colt, Miata versus BMW M3, all these controversies that cook themselves up. People gnash their teeth and worry themselves to death over it. And it's like when I used to be in the motorcycle business, and we had this Honda versus Harley. I worked at a dealership that sold both of them. And you listen to these people all day long go on about that crap. And at the end of the day, I was just like, hey man, at least you're riding a bike, you know? Can't you take that for what it's worth, have that in common, and enjoy your hobby? The funniest thing was we'd have motor officers, Houston police officers that, you know, rode Gold Wings for years and years and talked shit about Harley Davidson, and then all of a sudden everybody in the police department had to get decided they were going to get Harleys, and then listen to them talk shit about Honda for years after that. It was ridiculous. Bottom line, guys, you're going to have this kind of stuff your whole life where people are going to want to choose sides and argue about crap. Bottom line is, this is a fun hobby. We get to talk about Star Wars, we get to play with these things, go out, have our picture taken, people love them. You know, don't get so goddamn worked up about who made the thing and whose is better. You know, all companies have their problems. Everybody has a different opinion. I had a guy have me repair some Ultras for me. I thought they looked terrible inside. You know, I've repaired some Saberforges for people that were older ones, but yeah, they had bad solder joints and stuff in them. Shit happens. They're cranking out a lot of product. A few are going to slip through the cracks. Everybody's opinion differs. I was talking to some people earlier today about a Comic-Con over in San Antonio, and depending on who you ask, it was like the Bataan Death March or the best con they ever went to. Which one was it? You never know until you're there, and then your opinion will be your own. Hey man, you got to hang out with Ron Perlman. It's probably a great weekend. If you took an hour to load your car in and out as a vendor, it's probably a bad weekend. I don't know. Things like this are what you make of them. And one thing I've figured out in the last couple of months is life is too short to waste your time on stuff that it doesn't add any value to you. Owning sabers, having fun with them, getting to know the people that own them, that's a value-added thing. Worrying about it, arguing about it, fighting about it, it doesn't add any value to your life. It takes time away from your life. The time and treasure you spend on things like that, you'll never get back. The time and treasure you spend on things that enhance your life will last forever. And you can pass them along to other people and increase their joy. So, think before you talk. It's easy on the internet where things are fairly anonymous to bitch out people really easy and have opinions about things that you don't even know about half the time, honestly. There's a lot of people that come on here and talk shit that probably never even owned any of these products they're talking about. Keep that in mind. And talk to people on the internet the way you talk to them in person. Believe me, I don't take a lot of shit. And I've had people talk to me on the internet to where if they had talked to me in person, they'd be laid out on the damn ground. And I try to never do that. I try not to respond to people that do that. But it happens. Try to be nice to each other more. And just keep in mind that we're all here for the same thing. We're all here to enjoy this hobby. And it's a great hobby. I've met tons of fantastic people. I've done a lot of crap that I've never done before for the first time at 52 years old because of this. And enjoying the hell out of it. And just keep that in mind when you're looking at posts and thinking about what you're going to say and respond to things. Keep it light, man. It's fun. Let's make it that way for everybody. If you're a new person coming in, you ask a dumb question, don't give that person a lot of shit. Give them a straight answer if you have one. If you know, help them. If you don't know, shut up. Let somebody that does know help. And bring some more people into the show. Who cares what kind of saber they got? You know? Swing them around to your way of thinking later. But let them get started without having a lot of animosity and vitriol thrown at them because they say the wrong thing the first time out. Anyway, I've rambled on and on. This is one of the longest one of these things I've made without actually talking about a lightsaber. I have a few changes in my life. I've unburdened myself of some things that were costing me a lot of time and treasure and trust in people and self-worth eventually. And I am getting my shit together, and I am ordering some new stuff soon, and hopefully we'll have some new sabers to talk about soon. But that's going to be down the line a few weeks more, probably. Anyway, thanks for listening. Sorry to rant and go on for over 12 minutes now, but y'all have a great day. Think about what I said, and enjoy yourselves, and enjoy your lightsabers and this fantastic hobby.